everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So this is a very impromptu, let me actually open up the video. This is a very impromptu book tag video because I totally forgot to do something for the Easter book tag, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's currently Saturday, and I was like, oh my gosh, tomorrow's Easter. I don't think I did an Easter book tag. And let me see, it is April. Yeah, I did an original book tag for April, which will be coming out April 28th, but I have not done an Easter one. So very impromptu, very last minute, because like I said, it's Saturday. And I usually try to record at the very least my book tag videos in advance so that I have them there. But if you celebrate, happy belated Easter. I hope you had a great day. If not, I still hope you had a great Sunday. So I hope you got to do things with your family, or do things you wanted to do, or just relax. So geez words. As with other book tags that I've been repeating, this is one of them. As with other book tags I've been repeating, there are some ground rules, which I'll just go over quickly. First off, my earlier videos must be linked below. So if I've done one, that one must be linked. If I've done 5, that one, all 5 must be linked, and they're identified by year. And rule 3 is that I have to watch any earlier videos before doing this one. So I only have one last year, 2025, so I have to watch that one before this one. If I had 5 Easter book tag videos, I would have to watch all 5 before getting into the prompts of the current video. And then rule number 4 is that I have to have my answers for the current book tag video before watching any of the earlier videos or the earlier video. And it's okay, the last one is that it's okay if the answers overlap. I just have to have a second answer for any prompts that had overlapping answers. So I'm going to quickly watch it, and then I will come back to you. I will let you know if there are any that overlapped. So I was trying to figure out what the heck was on my bed behind me. It was yarn for a blanket I was making at the time. So yeah, I was just wondering what the heck it was, because it almost looked like a bag, but then I realized it was the label for the yarn. Something that was kind of annoying me is that I'm not turning the books. I don't have them lined up in the back like I used to do, and I'm not holding them up. So that is kind of bothering me a little bit. I just can't skim through. I usually just skim through to see what my answers were, but I can't really do that now. So that's fun. I had to have done this kind of impromptu, because without, more so like I was just going based off of like the prompts, because that's the only reason I can think of. Oh, I have 2 books behind me. Why do I have those 2 books behind me? I have The Hobbit, or no? Which one is that? I have Return of the King behind me, I think. And then I have one of the Bloodsworn books behind me. I don't think those are part of I don't think those are part of the tag though. So far, no overlap. Okay, so I did have one question that overlapped, which was not a surprise. Or so far I have one. I still need to get through the others. I am almost done. I'm about halfway through, and both of them, so I have the overlap, so I put the second book because I'm gonna go with it, and that one overlapped too. But I'm gonna count my official answer as the first one that I said. And then, yeah, just because again, I'm not showing the books. So this one is a little bit of a looser interpretation of these rules because I'm not showing the actual books. So that's a little bit annoying. Okay, so I did only have the one overlap, which I'm actually kind of happy about because I get to talk about some other books. Future me, if I'm doing a book tag, show the books. And I know right now there are some books where I don't have a physical copy for, and I can't pop it onto the screen yet. I'm trying to figure out how to do that on my phone still, but for the life of me, I've not been able to do that. But what I've also been trying to do is with my book tags as usual, as is the norm now. I have the books mentioned section, so if there are any books that I don't show the cover of, the title is in the books mentioned section in my description. So I only have the one overlap, which is good. And now we're gonna get into this video, into these prompts, and we're gonna have a good time. So first up, the first prompt is Rabbits, a book you wish would multiply, have sequels. This one, I'm doing this as a, not necessarily the sequel itself needs it's not necessarily that the series itself needs more sequels, or that an individual book needs sequels. It's more so that the series needs like a sequel series, because this would be like perfect for cozy fantasy vibes. This series would be perfect for that, especially like anyway. So Magic Knight Rares by Clamp, like this would be perfect to have like cozy fantasy stuff, to just see the girls practicing their magic, living in Sapphireau, being able to stay and seeing them visit Sapphireau, because I'm pretty sure I would have to reread it, and the reread is planned. But I'm pretty sure they can still visit Sapphireau and go back after the end of part 2. But going back, visiting Sapphireau, and just having cozy fantasy moments. But I do hope, I've mentioned this before, but I do hope that in the remake for the anime, since they're doing that, I do kind of hope that they slightly change that part of the ending so that they choose to stay in Sapphireau, because that would heal young Shanna's heart so much. Because it's like, why wouldn't you? I mean, on the one hand, I understand why they wouldn't want to stay, because it's like, that's not sorry, I had to step away for a minute, but this would be like the one, I don't remember quite what I was saying, but basically for me at least, that's the ending. I do wish that they could have stayed, but kind of like what I was saying, or I do wish that they would have chosen to stay. But on the one hand, I get it, but at the same time, oh, I know what I'm saying. I understand why they didn't choose to stay, but they had so many people there in Sapphireau that it's like, I would have, even though I had my home, I would have a harder time giving up all those people that kind of became like a family to me, chosen family, that like, I would have a harder time giving that up and only being like, oh yeah, we'll visit when we can. So, that would be harder for me to not see them regularly. So that would be, in my mind, like they choose to stay, and that would be like something nice to see in the remake, where it's like if they choose to stay. But anyway, sequel wise, getting back on topic, this would be perfect to have like cozy fantasy vibes in, because it's like if you have the situation where they stay in Sapphireau, or they're able to stay for long periods of time, and they practice their magic, they're just they get to see more of Sapphireau as Sapphireau is. Cozy fantasy, perfect for this. So Magic Knight Rares. The next prompt is Egg, a book that surprised you. For me, this one was A Fellowship of Bakers and Magic by J. Penner, and I am all for the cozy fantasy vibes. I love it. This one just surprised me because honestly, like, one second, I just use. Honestly, it just, like, there's so much of what I like in books, and the romance is there, but it's not like in your face, and the cozy fantasy vibes are there, the coziness is there, and it's like that perfect little pick-me-up. So this was a surprise. It was a pleasant surprise. And then I'm gonna fix this real quick. Next up is Hunt, a book that was hard for you to get your hands on. For me, the answer that I'm choosing for this one is the fact that it's not necessarily that it was hard for me to get my hands on. It was a little bit because there were only like 2 copies at my local Barnes & Noble, but a larger part of it was the fact that I just kept forgetting about it. And that is the Mademoiselle Alliance by Natasha Lester. I'm not giving descriptions. Okay, so I'm gonna give a description for this one and then backtrack. But again, like a large part of it, like I knew about it and then I forgot about it. I knew it was gonna be published the next year and then I forgot about it. And then I knew about it, and then I forgot about it, and then I remembered, and I forgot, and then I remembered and forgot, and then I finally remembered. I was like, I need to get this. So in this, you're in 1936 Paris. As Europe edges towards war, Marie Madeleine Merrick's life is upended by a chance encounter with a mysterious spy. Recruited to help build a resistance network, she conceals her identity and gender, navigating a dangerous double life, and eventually rising to the head of the alliance. She defies doubters and achieves incredible feats of espionage that help turn the tide of war, but her most dangerous feat of all is falling in love. So that's what this is. It's based off of a true story, but it is fiction. So this was, like, again, it wasn't necessarily hard for me to find. I just kept forgetting about it. It's because of my own fault. So in Magic Knight Rare Earth, to backtrack, we are following 3 girls from Tokyo. They're like 8th grade, 14 years old. And they get isekai'd to Sephiroth to help save Sephiroth. So this is perfect for a cozy fantasy sequel series. And then in A Fellowship of Bakers and Magic, in the heart of Ardenshire, where elvish enchantments and dwarven delights rule, human baker Arletta Starson works twice as hard, perfecting her unique blend of baking with apothecary herbs. So when her orc neighbor and biggest fan, you are, secretly enters her creations into the prestigious Langheim baking battle, Arletta faces a dilemma. Being magicless, her participation in the competition could draw more scowls than smiles. And if Arletta wants to prove her talent and establish her culinary reputation, she'll need more than just her pastry craft to sweeten the odds. So that's what this one is about, and I really enjoyed it. So the next prompt after Hunt, after Mademoiselle Alliance, the next prompt is Lambs, a children's book you still enjoy. My answer, like with last year, The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. Again, this is what my official answer for last year as well. The official one for last year. In this, you're following Bilbo, and he ends up getting strong-armed into an adventure with 13 dwarves to help reclaim their homeland. And this was the one where it's like, the only reason why, like, I'm counting this as my official answer for last year was because I wasn't showing the books, but I mentioned 3. The follow-up, the alternative answer that I have for this is The Phantom Tollbooth by Norton Juster, and in that you follow Milo, who, like, he's bored out of his mind with everything. He just wants to be wherever he's going, and then when he's there, he doesn't want to be there, that kind of thing. And one day when he gets home after school, there's a package for him, and in it is a toll booth that he sets up. And he ends up going to this strange new land. So he ends up going to this strange new land and goes on a lot of adventures, makes some new friends, and does a lot of stuff. And then once he gets home, he realizes that he has so much to do. So that's what that is about. And I did mention The Phantom Tollbooth last year, but again, last year's official answer was The Hobbit. So the next prompt is Spring, a book with a cover that makes you think of spring, and for me, that would be Violet Thistlewaite is not a villain anymore. Like, tell me that this doesn't remind you of spring. I dare you to tell me that this doesn't remind you of spring. So, in this, I have not read this one yet, but I'm going to, but Guy Shadowfade is dead, and after a lifetime as the Dark Sorcerer's right hand, Violet Thistlewaite is determined to start over. Not as a fearsome thorn witch, but as someone kind, someone better, someone good. The quaint town of Dragon's Rest, Violet decides, will be her second chance. She'll set down roots, open a flower shop, and keep her sentient, mildly homicidal houseplant in check, and prune dark magic from the twisted brows of her life. So it's basically about her slowing in and then dealing with some other stuff. Another cozy fantasy book, basically. And honestly, I'm really excited to read this one. So next up is Basket. I was looking up to see how long I'd been recording, but I had to stop and go a couple times. So next up is Basket, a book that is in your cart or wish list right now. This is kind of both. But volume 3 of part 2 of Magic Knight Red Earth. I've already talked about this one, so I'm not going to give the description, but I need volume 3 of part 2 so I can do my read through, and that will happen soon. I will get volume 3 at some point, even if I need to order it, which I probably will need to order it online. But anyway, the very last prompt is Candy, a book that is sweet. And for this one, I did choose the Savior's Book Cafe story in Another World, Volume 1. I do not know how many volumes. Let's see how many volumes are. Because we like the Savior Cafe story in Another World. I didn't spell it right, so. Is it finished? Okay. Oh, there's only 5 volumes, so that could be a really good... That could be a really good one to pick up. So, in this, basically you're following Zucchina, who's a single 30-something office worker whose favorite thing to do is curling up with a good book. When a god tells her that she must go to another world to become its magical savior, Zucchina isn't interested. She has zero desire to go on some grand hero's journey. So when she arrives in this strange new land, she decides to use her magical powers to create a cozy little book cafe instead. Her first customer is a handsome soldier who loves reading almost as much as she does. But when a fellow savior starts causing trouble, Zucchina might have to play the hero after all. So I'm really excited to continue this one, and again, it's a short manga, so like I could get through this pretty quickly. So this one was cute. I did like, the thing is I read it a while ago, and it's only the first volume, so it didn't super stick with me, but I do remember it being really cutesy. So that's that. And if you got to the end of this video, let me know down below in the comments, what is your favorite type of chocolate? If you like chocolate, what is your favorite type? And if you don't like chocolate, what is your favorite little sweet treat to have? Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.